Senate Seat 6, and I use she, her pronouns.
Senator Lopez Dubois,
Good evening, everyone. Talik Lopez Duah, DFC Senate Seat 8. He, him.
Senator Hopperday,
Hey guys, my name is Bella Hoffert Hay. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm DFC Senate Seat 9.
Senator Heffernan, Senator Amo Adiefe, Senator Jenkins Hiscox,
Hi, my name is Zoe Jenkins Hiscox. I'm Senate Seat 12 and I use she, her pronouns.
Senator Chisholm, Senator Nagarajan, Senator Stevenson,
Hey everyone, my name is Cole Stevenson. I use he, him pronouns. I am the Arts and Sciences seat 15 as well as the Academic Committee Chair.
Senator Withers,
Hi, I'm Rachel Withers. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Senate Seat 16, College of Design.
Senator Kolos, Senator Busi, Senator Fisher,
Hi, I'm Kayla. I use she, her pronouns, and I am Academic Seat 22 grad rep.
Senator Quessenberry,
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Quisenberry. I am Senate Seat 23, and I use she, her pronouns.
Senator Ludeman,
Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Ludeman. I am Senate Seat 20 and Senate Deputy Speaker, and I use she, her pronouns.
and my name is Quadrian Gill. I use he, him pronouns. I am Senate Seat 7, Contracts Finance Committee, and I am the Senate Speaker. All right, and let me just count everyone that isn't here real quick.
I think it's 7.
And we're still at 2/3.
We're at 14.
Okay, perfect. All right, and moving through the agenda. Next, we will do the land acknowledgement. Do I have a senator who wants to do the land acknowledgement? Raise your hand on Teams. Senator Fisher,
Yeah. Um, the University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Alihi, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, Kalapuya descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to the lands now known as Oregon, and to the world. And following the Indigenous protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land we occupy, we also extend our respect to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua and Sislaw Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquel Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, and the Klamath Tribes. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, including the Chinook Indian Nation and the Fort McDermott, Paiute, and Shoshone tribes, as well as to all other displaced Indigenous peoples who call Oregon home.
thank you. And next, we have the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second, Fisher.
Motion made by Withers, seconded Fisher. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
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 and those opposed say nay. And the agenda is approved. Going into announcements, any senators, committees, members of the public that wish to make an announcement, please raise your hand. If there's no one, we will move to public forum. I'll open the floor to public forum. If anybody wishes to speak, please raise your hand. Okay, and we will move to the item from the Rules Committee, proposal to amend Senate Rules Sections 3, 15, and 16. And Rules Committee Chair, Senator Perez will present that for us.
Yeah, guys, thank you. Starting off with section 3, going down the new proposal, it is going to kind of look over summer, and more so just senators getting and officers getting to office. First off, just ensuring that a better transition, just making sure they meet with their successor, and then to ensure activity throughout the summer. You can only be excused from at the most one meeting over the summer. And going into section 15, where we're able to define summer more, it's going to be that time period after finals week and before week 1 of fall term. And that's how it is in the academic calendar, non-law school. So it'll be easier for us to align it, make sure it makes sense. We're all on the same schedule. And we'll be keeping the 4 senators maybe excused from Senate during the summer. But Senate exec officers and finance committee chairs cannot be excused. And each committee is going to have at least one senator present during the summer. And the first 4 will be approved by ombudsperson, and 5 or more want to be requested to be excused from summer Senate. Senate president, Senate vice president, and ombudsperson will make that decision if they are excused or not, and then any decision will be notify that senator if they're excused by week 10 of spring term. And then before, it stated if you were excused, you weren't allowed to vote. So now if you're you won't be required as like excuse to attend any of the ASUO Senate meetings. You would have to at least attend one, and then you would be able to vote during those. Before it was you wouldn't be able to vote, but you had to attend, which kind of seemed pointless. So at least here, when you're present, you'll still be able to vote. And kind of going into the summer spending, I'm sure you guys all read Quadrian's message, but to kind of make it easier to explain, we would find out the funds by July 1st going into the new fiscal year about how much we have to spend for, or we're able to spend for summer. But obviously, like, we don't really know until like around that July 1st mark. So changing it to out, and it was only 25% beforehand, but now we increase it to 50%. The balance calculated on June 30th which would be the previous fiscal year. So which will allow us to have like more spending of the previous, and we know how much we'd be able to spend during the summer. And even though it would be an increase in spending, we know we're using the previous fiscal year's allocated funds. So that also kind of puts a cap on how much we're able to spend. So we're not doing too much either. And yeah, and then 15.5 just goes into basic we able to improve vote, any priorities for end of summer. And for section 16, we deleted the summer stipends part. I'm not sure if you guys could see the proposed. stipend. But essentially, if you're excused during summer, you'll be only receiving 50% of your stipend, and it would be like those 4 or 5 if been approved. So that's why we got rid of that, because in the stipend model, it's more clear and coherent that it's either you're active or not, and then you'll be receiving that 50% if you've been excused. But yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown of what we went through over our rules committee meetings. Any questions about those?
Senator Stevenson?
Towards the tail end, you spoke about being excused and how that would affect your pay. Let's say you're not excused and you're just not showing up. Is that something that would affect your pay in a different way?
That
That
would,
would fall, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
That would fall under non-fulfillment of duty. So it just go towards the regular, just like protocol for handling when a senator is not doing their required duties.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Fisher?
Thank you for going through this, Senator Perez.
Mhm.
I might be being stupid. You can tell me that. When it's 4 senators excused from Senate during the summer, is that the entirety of Senate or is that like per meeting? Can you explain that a little bit more, please?
That's
Yeah,
the,
it's
so, yeah, you go, Bryce.
yeah, it would be like excuse for like the whole summer.
Okay. Okay. So then any like fifth person would that would be up to ombuds to decide? Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I yield.
And it would be like case by case too. So like right now, there's like excused absences and things like that when Olivia's communicating with you guys and she keeps track of all that. But if you're just not a part of Summer Senate, it's because like you've communicated that you're going to be off, like you have some excuse to do that, but you get reduced pay for that, which is the standard right now. But the way it is right now, it's just in the Senate rules and it wasn't in the stipend model. So it really wasn't enforceable in any way. It was just kind of there as a thing and was like a good incentive, but this kind of adds teeth to it. And Andrew was a big part of these revisions too. Did you want to share anything?
Sure. I think that this change is just largely taking the existing sections 15 and 16 and moving them around to be more concise and readable. Yes, there's some stuff that got moved into section 3, but really this is rewriting and simplifying sections 15 and 16 and compiling them all into one spot. There really isn't any changes to the responsibilities of Senate or senators, except making it more clear that, for example, you need to create spending priorities for surplus by the end of the summer.
Big shout out to Andrew too for helping us.
For sure. Thank you, Andrew. Senator Fisher?
Yeah. Another thing about that. So the priorities by end of summer, that is by the first Senate meeting of the school year or by the day that classes start?
It's defined in the rules by the day that classes start. In this rule, we could change that if we want to, but that's the way the proposed rule has it laid out.
Okay. So they have to be brought to Senate much earlier than that because Senate has to approve them and Senate doesn't meet until into the first week.
Mhm. The rule could be changed by Senate shall approve priorities the first meeting of fall term.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
And if anybody does want to change anything, you can make a motion to amend anything on here too. Senator Fisher?
Can I move to amend that it has to be approved by the first Senate meeting of the fall term?
Do we have a second?
Like Stevenson.
All right, motion made by Fisher, seconded Stevenson. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. No objections, the motion will pass, and we will amend 15.5. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you. Then if there is no questions, we can still make the motion to approve it and talk after.
I move to approve the proposed revisions of Senate Rules, Sections 3, 15, and 16.
Second, Taylor.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded Quessenberry. Then I'm gonna do a roll call. Perez,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
O'Neill, Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferday,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers votes aye by proxy. Fisher,
Aye.
Quessenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
then I see Senator Chisholm joined too. Do you want to make a vote on this?
Aye.
Aye for Chisholm, and I say aye as well. The motion is passed and the amended rules are approved. Awesome. Then going forward in the agenda, we will move to our surplus request. So first thing, before we get into financial business, I know we just upped the cap for approving summer surplus, but I do think after next meeting, we're already at the 50% since surplus did start so low. So before we do financial business tonight, we should suspend, or we should, I would recommend that someone makes a motion to suspend Senate Rule 15.4, just so that we don't have to worry about anyone's vote not counting.
I move to suspend Senate Rule 15.4.
Seconded.
Motion made by Taylor, seconded Fisher. I'll get a roll call. Perez,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Abstain.
Hofferday,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Quessenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Motion 15.4 is suspended through the meeting. Then going into financial business. So the current surplus amount is $134,471, and the unallocated reserve number is $43,092. Our first org requesting funds for surplus today will be Art Deco. Please come and introduce yourself and tell us a little about your request, please. Do we have a representative from Art Deco here today?
I move to table the request from Art Deco.
Second, Perez.
Motion to table made by Fisher, seconded Perez. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. And the request has been tabled. Up next, we have the student insurgent. If you want to come introduce yourself and share your request. Do we have a representative from the student insurgent?
I move to table the request from insurgent.
Seconded Fisher.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Fisher. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
And those opposed say nay. And for the next request, the Young Democratic Socialist at UO. Do we have please introduce yourself and share a little about your request, please.
Hi, I'm Victoria Robinson. I use they, she pronouns. I'm the new treasurer for Young Democratic Socialists of America. Sorry, I'm like out and about. Let me pull up my notes about the surplus request. Okay. So from September 12th to the 14th, we're having a retreat for club members at the Center for Rural Livelihoods in Cottage Grove. Their retreat is open to all members. And we've been collecting RSVPs, and the deadline for that was last week or last weekend. So some people have their own tents and some people need to rent them. There's around 30 people who will be attending. The goal of this is to like have returning members come back and like we're gonna bond and like do workshops about like leadership um and just like get people re-engaged and primed and prepped for this year. Um we plan on doing goal setting and we're gonna have like organizing trainings. So we requested gas money because some people will be driving from Portland and out of state. And we want to be able to, reimburse them if they need to use the gas money. And also the place we're saying, the Center for Rural, sorry, that word is really hard for me to say. The Center for Rural Livelihoods has a $250 fee um, to reserve the space. It's a cheaper option because like I've been there before for a UO student workers retreat. And the way it works is you help them by they live on like this big or like the center is like on this plot of land and they're clearing a lot of it to build like housing for people that want to come and stay and work. So you clear some logs and stuff for them and it's cheaper for you to stay. You're like grouped to stay there. But it is a $250 fee. Um, if we do 3 hours of farm work per day, we only need to pay $250 for the 30 people that are coming. So that's why we need reimbursement for that. So the surplus request total is $450, which includes the $250 housing fee, um, gas money or estimated gas money, and then the tent rentals. So if there's not enough room, people can stay in tents outside. Um, yeah, check.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Then we'll open the floor up to questions now, and we will start with Senator Fisher.
Hi, Victoria. It's great to see you. I was wondering, so I have a couple of questions. One, is this the first time you've done this event? And then two, I was wondering how you planned on like allocating the gas money. Is it like first come, first serve, or people who are driving the furthest, or like if you have any way to do that?
Yeah. We have not done a retreat like this at this place before for YDSA. Um, also, um, for gas money, I think or like my plan is to um figure out how much money people need and then yeah, first come first serve. So like if you um likely it'll be the people that are out of state that are driving in, we'll probably get to them first and get them reimbursed first because it's like the most amount of money. And then I'm sure also like some of us are happy to pitch in some funds for people. So yeah, if that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
And then so since you haven't done it here before, I was wondering why you chose to do it here.
We chose to do it because we have some people in our club that know the owners. And also some of us went earlier, like in the winter, we went for the US Student Workers Retreat. And we figured, and it's like super lovely and there's like no service and it's just a nice place. So we thought it would be a nice place to do our pre-fall planning, getting together thing that we're doing.
Love that. Thank you. I yield.
And Senator Jess Fisher, did you still want to speak?
Oh, I was just gonna say I helped with some of the planning for this retreat as well, and I'm gonna be abstaining from this vote. But um yeah, I think also part of it too is that like um we want to be able to like engage our returning members too, not just like the people who are in leadership. Because in July, we had our national convention, which is like a really big event, and we were only able to send like 10 delegates to that. So this is like a good way for other members to get to like go to an event of some kind. Um, and we were able to like fully fund that other thing ourselves. So we figured that making a $450 surplus request would be okay. And yeah. Also, this is Victoria's first surplus request, and they were nervous. So, shout out to Victoria.
Senator Stevenson?
I was going to say if there aren't any other questions, then I would move to authorize spending from surplus to Group YDSA at UO OS number OS297I in the amount of $450 to line item 2025 retreat.
Seconded Fisher.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Fisher. Starting the roll call, Perez,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
You.
Abstain.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith, Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferhead,
Abstain.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Questenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I abstain. The motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Victoria. Thanks for coming. And moving on to the next item, we have American Marketing Association. Please share your name and tell us a little about your request, please.
Hi, I'm Vivian. I'm the incoming Vice President of Finance for the American Marketing Association, and we are requesting $5,440 with two line items in the club administrative as $940 and our club advertisement in the amount of $4,500.
Awesome. Thank you, Vivian. Does anybody have any questions? Senator Fisher?
Yeah, I know that you gave a little bit about it and like the situation here. I was wondering if we could explain it in more detail.
Yeah, I'll
Like the
share.
disparities between, because obviously the engage form isn't going to be right. And so like what exactly is different?
So AMA doesn't have a budget right now. They're requesting funds to try to fill their budget. One of the requests that, or one of the line items they want to fill with the request is a stipend line item. We aren't able to use surplus funds on stipends, so we can't fund that part of the request today. But I have heard they're working with PFC, so there might be a possibility in the future of being able to fund stipends. But right now, it's just looking at the request without the $7,020 and deciding how we want to go forward.
I see. Thank you. And then Vivian, thanks for being here. It's great to meet you. Can you explain a little more about how you plan to use the administrative and programming?
Yes, of course. So for our club administrative, our $940, we plan on using that for like our raw materials and our supplies to fund our different events that we plan to participate in, such as the flock party, the student involvement fair. As of right now, the American Marketing Association doesn't have like a little banner to display during our meetings, and we don't have a tablecloth. So this is essentially for the executive board to use to fund those raw materials. And then on top of that, with the club advertising, our goal for the school year is to scale our club and grow our club engagement and grow our members. So right now we're at 30 members and we plan on doubling that, if not more. And this $4,500 will go towards funding food for those clubs. Also, on top of that, maybe some promotion. So we have a collegiate conference, a national case competition that all AMA chapters attend. And so we'd love for our members to represent the University of Oregon through t-shirts and maybe merchandise. And also we came up with this $4,500 really strategically. So there's about 3 quarters every single year. And we decided to allocate about $1,300-ish to every quarter. And in each quarter, there's like 11 weeks, and we plan to have a weekly meeting every Tuesday night. And so we plan to have about $100 to $150 planned in just food if we are planning to double our members. So that's kind of how I came up with those numbers. And that's essentially the goal and mission of AMA this year.
Perfect. Thank you. How many members do you currently have?
We have a little bit over 30 right now.
Okay. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Stevenson?
Yeah, thank you, Viv, for being here. A question that I have is how much of the money is going towards your visit to San Francisco? And you were talking about the collegiate conference in Chicago. Do you know how much of it is going towards those things versus the previous things that you were talking about?
Yeah, so none of it, I just want to clarify, I talked to Jess a little bit about this, is that none of it will be used for travel whatsoever. This is just going to be for like the promotion of it. So this is for our members, such as like t-shirts, um, hopefully some AMA merch that we can hopefully have in the future. So I don't have like a direct amount, but from what I said before with the $100 to $150 in food, whatever's left over, we plan on using that for I guess essentially like the merchandise for the collegiate conference and also the San Francisco visit.
Okay, because in the request it says funding will also support our participation in the AMA National Collegiate Conference in Chicago. And so if that's not necessarily the case, or if that's just for the merchandise, then okay, that's a little different. Thank you, I yield.
Senator Perez?
I yield.
So right now with just the programming line item and the administrative line item, the entire request would be would be 5,440. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vivian, for being here. Sorry if I missed this, but could you break down the administrative line item?
Yeah, so with the administrative, that's mainly going to be used to participate in the student fairs. So such as like the flock party that's upcoming, we don't have a tablecloth and we don't have a banner. And also we need money for prizes that we plan to have at our table. And additionally, with the student involvement fair, we're responsible for our own prizes as well. So this is mainly for the executive board to come up with those prizes and also those supplies for these fairs. It's going to be pretty, I guess, discretionary because throughout the year, as we kind of hold more events and we kind of hold more meetings, we're just going to need that extra money to provide, like, for example, like renting out chairs and also renting out different supplies.
Cool. And this new stuff you guys get, like banners and tables, is something you plan on using throughout the year?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Oh yeah, all the new stuff you guys plan on getting, like banners and tablecloths, is that something you guys plan on using repeatedly throughout the year?
Yes, we plan on using it throughout every single meeting. Whenever we hold a meeting, we love to put the banner outside, and then whenever we plan to like participate in different campus events, like we plan to have the tablecloth and whatever else we might need.
Cool, thank you. I yield.
Senator Chisholm?
Hello. Thank you so much for coming. I just had a couple questions for the like merchandise, well, apparel part that y'all were talking about. Um, I know that sometimes t things as simple as t-shirts can cost a lot of money, and I was wondering if y'all looked into perhaps a more lower cost option, like you could screen print and stamp onto shirts that are blank, or if anybody in your club knows, like, is there any, did you guys go through to make sure like the lowest kind of prices for things like buying t-shirts that take up a lot of money usually? Thank you.
Yeah, so I have like a personal connection. My uncle owns like a sign shop, and so we plan on like allocating t-shirts ourselves, like just blank t-shirts, and then he can stamp those on. And also he plans like for the banner, I know that we just need to buy the banner itself and he can do that for us. And so we've thought like everything through with cost wise and how to go about it in the most cost effective way.
Cool. Thank you so much. I yield.
Senator Withers?
Hi, Vivian. Thank you so much for coming today. I was wondering if you could give a little background on AMA's like experience, like how long has AMA been a club?
Yeah, so I know AMA has been around for a while. I can't tell you the exact number of years. I know they had, or I guess we had, a pretty significant fall down throughout the pandemic. I know that the club kind of took a little bit of a hit, lost a lot of members, and it kind of started scaling back up just a couple of years ago. And I think we plan on building what we already have, and I think we've built the club significantly from where it used to come like a year ago. And so with that, also our executive board is really driven, and I think everyone has the same goal to scale the club. And so, kind of starting with nothing and then kind of seeing the growth so far, it honestly has been pretty significant. Um, that's also Maggie. She's on the executive board with me as well. And so, yeah, I hope that kind of answered your question.
Yeah. I remember people from AMA coming last year to Senate, and I was wondering if you're gonna come back to surplus to request money for like conferences for this year.
Yeah, I think we will. I think to fund a lot of, because I mean, to participate in the case competition, I think we need to have a certain amount of members to go. And so I think we do plan on coming back to surplus.
Okay. And then I guess this is kind of a question for the rest of Senate. Thank you, Vivian and Maggie. But it's pretty unstandard for organizations who haven't gone through the budget process to come to request like full year budget kind of stuff. So I feel like if we grant this today, then we're kind of setting a precedent that we're gonna do that for any club who hasn't gone through the budget process. And I'm kind of hesitant about that because um that could result in a lot of money and a lot of organizations coming to us. I would love to have, if anybody, has thoughts about that, I would love to hear that, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. I would love to support this, but I want to think about like the long-term effects of it. I yield.
Ludeman,
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do want to clarify. I believe they have gone through the budget process, but they missed a deadline this past year for the budget, or have they not gone through the budget process at all? If someone has a clarifying answer on that.
if someone, yes, you wants to answer?
I can answer that. Yeah, so they participated partially in the budget process last year, but due to some communication issues, they didn't schedule a budget hearing. So they submitted a budget, but it was approved by SOFS, and then we lost contact with them, and they didn't actually schedule a hearing or participate in the appeals process. I also will say too, Senator Withers' concern there, this is not a typical situation. Usually, it's very, very rare for established organizations to completely miss the budget process like this. So to miss not only the initial hearing, but then also appeals.
So they haven't like not in the past, like last year was their first time attempting to go through the budget process, but didn't go through the whole thing yet.
They have been like on the PFC budget for like 10 years. It was just
Oh,
last year
just last year. Okay, I
they
understand.
missed a
Okay,
hearing. Yeah.
thank you. I yield.
And then Peters, you were next on the list too.
I yield.
Jess Fisher, Senator Jess Fisher.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to be redundant, but yeah, they have been through the budget process before. I think that like, yeah, in response to like the concern about setting a precedent, I think this is a special situation where we are making an exception to give them a budget within our rules. And like, as an org leader, it would be really, it would, I can't imagine like just like waking up one day and then seeing like that you don't have a budget. Another thing is that like, typically if you miss your hearing and you go to appeals, you don't really get like an increase in your budget. And so if we with the stipends like removed, um, I'm satisfied with the 5,000 number and would be comfortable funding this request. I yield.
Stevenson.
Just as a point of clarification for the rest of Senate, what would happen if they had to go back to softs and is the money still going to be pulled from the same place?
Sorry, one more time.
Like if we decide to go against this request or deny their request and they go to softs for their budget, um, for next year or whatever happens, is that money still going to be pulled from surplus regardless?
So this is like the only option for funding for them. Like going to softs would be if they had a budget, like that's how they interact with softs, but they don't have a budget. So this is them after going to softs and realizing they have no budget, trying to get funds to do the things they want to do for the year.
Okay,
So
cool.
if it is denied, there's no other like funding from ASUO that'll happen.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you. I yield.
Senator Kayla Fisher.
Thank you. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing as Senator Withers, although I'm conflicted because I really want to fund this, and I think it, like Senator Fisher said, it would be absolutely devastating to not have a budget at all. But I am concerned about the like funding for a full year after the fact. I also feel like, and obviously I'm on academic committee, so someone can correct me if I'm way off. I feel like if you were to go through the process of this, maybe there would be like more direct lines drawn between how the money's being used. And I think Vivian explained it very well, but I just think like there's a lot of estimates kind of, and that concerns me a little bit because I think from my understanding, if you were to go through the process of like a budget process, it would have more detail in there. And so that is a little concerning, but I could very easily be talked out of it because I do think this is a sucky situation. But I share the same concerns, and I am wondering like how that like what is the detail that is included in budgets when you go through PFC?
Marisol wants to answer that.
Pretty, like you said, pretty high level of detail. I would say line by line, like auditing and explaining the purpose of each line item and the amount. I will say though that me and Senator Fisher met with Vivian last week and did talk through that level of detail with this budget. And something that Vivian didn't mention, but I think is really important, was that their spending is actually based on last year's spending. So they're not estimates out of nowhere. They're basically one for one estimates of their spending of 24-25.
Okay, I see. That yeah, thank you. I am no longer concerned. Thank you for that. I yield.
Senator Ludeman
I
and
yield.
Senator
No.
Peters.
I just wanted to also give people a little bit more frame of reference. Last year, their budget was around $8,000, and so if they were to have gone to a hearing, based on their spending from last year, we would have like allocated them a budget of about $10,100. So this 5,000 number is like half of what we would have allocated them if they had gone through the budget process. So just take that into account, especially given that our understanding right now is that we won't be able to give them stipends.
Fisher.
I yield.
Yeah. What so do we know why they didn't go to the hearing? If there was like something dramatic or like not that it matters much, but I'm just curious. It's also okay if we don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say the understanding on our end and what we talked to Vivian about was just that, like, we reached out to them, they didn't schedule a hearing, and then we didn't receive any communication with them until after appeals. So that's like all that we have been able to figure out in going back and looking.
Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Then just a reminder, we still don't have a motion in the amount right now without the stipends is 5,440.
I moved to authorize spending from surplus to group. Oh, I'm sorry, I got lost. To Group American Marketing Association, OS number OS 136, in the amount of $5,440, or in the amount of $940 to line item administrative, and $4,500 to line item programming.
Seconded.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded Questenberry. Moving to the roll call. Perez,
Abstain.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferta,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Questenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
I think I missed Chisholm. Chisholm,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. The motion's passed. Congrats, guys. Thank you for coming, Vivian, and answering our questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything on me and Maggie's end that we need to do moving forward?
It'll be about a few days until like any money is officially transferred, but just stay in touch with Softs and yeah.
I'm sorry, I might be a little confused. Who exactly is SOFS?
Oh yeah, the Student Organization Financial Services, they're connected to the ASUO suite.
Okay, and is there someone I should like directly keep in touch with, or is it kind of I just reach out to?
I'll reach out to you after the meeting and
Okay,
yeah.
okay, awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciative of everything.
Thank you.
All right, and then going back up, I heard we have a representative from Student Insurgent here. If they want to introduce themselves.
Hello, yes, I'm here. Sorry for the delay.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Please share a little bit about your request.
Yes, sure. So the student insurgent is requesting $2,577 to print 100 issues of two of our previous issues. They're just reprints, specifically for like opening year events like the Flock Party. Our issues are we're very low on our stock, so we need a little something to be able to show people who are interested in new organizations and stuff. So we're just putting in a small order, 200 issues. I'm hoping will just get us through Flock Party.
Then I kind of reached out and asked. I noticed that you guys do have like about $8,000 in your printing line item.
Yes,
Are all those funds just like priorly allocated and you
they
guys
are. Yes.
you just need more now?
Yeah, that's correct. That 8,000 or so is for two full size orders of the genocide and Americana issues, which are yet to be printed. So we usually print like between 600 and 900 copies of each issue. So that 8,000 will go, I'm sure, entirely to those two issues, and this extra money towards this separate order.
Awesome, thank you. Senator Fisher.
Hi, Sam. It's great to see you.
You too, Kayla.
Thank you. Okay, so first thing, so you're printing 200. So is it 100 of each?
That's correct. Yeah, we're gonna print 100 issues of the cyber issue,
Okay,
which was like 2 issues ago, and 100 issues of Magical Girl, which was the most recent issue.
perfect. And then, so those are just because they're the two most recent.
That's correct.
Okay, I see. I love this. This running out means you guys are getting a lot of engagement. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, they go quick.
I yield. Sorry.
Senator Withers.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for being here. I was just wondering, so it looks like it's a little over $10 per print. Is that typical for each of your prints that you do?
Yeah, yeah, more or less. We've used a couple different shops in the past. We're using the UO printing services on this one, which tends to be the most convenient. And so yeah, that's pretty consistent.
Okay, is that just for printing or is that also for like shipping and stuff?
They do ship it. They usually ship it to you to ASUO as well. So yeah, I believe that's included.
Okay. Have you ever found any cheaper options? I was just wondering, like, that seems pretty pricey for $10 per print.
Yeah, we have used a couple other shops in the past. I'm not always like super involved with those orders, so I'm sorry, I can't give you a more specific answer, but it is pricey, yeah. But I imagine the paper all adds up. They get pretty heavy.
I see Tyler has her hand up, so I'll yield.
Hello. As the past like financial person for the student surgeon, I can expand a little more on your question, Senator Withers. It's we're banned from a lot of printers just from the past of stuff, but also the school, the UO printing, it didn't used to have full size like they weren't able to print in full size, so we weren't able to use them. But now that the school does print that size of issues, they kind of push us to use UO services before they do anything else. Excuse me for the noise in the background. Yeah, and if we do have to use another printer, it's a really like long, strenuous form, and the shipping is like hundreds of dollars just to get it to us. So they deliver it right to the ASUO office, and that's the option that they that the school recommends us to use most, and that's just how much they charge. But compared to other printers, I think it is a lot cheaper because we don't have to do shipping from another part of Oregon.
Thank you for explaining that. This is like less. I was just wondering why is the insurgent banned from printing services?
Yes. Because we print stuff that a lot of people see very controversial. Like the business itself has a problem with our like politics kind of, which is like if say some more like conservative kind of Christian printer, then if like one printer we're very much bad with because we had this art piece of Jesus hanging on a cross, with his private parts out, and they really didn't like that, so they were like, oh, you can't use our printer. And then other places it's just been like, I don't know, like they read what we have in there and they're like, we don't mess with that, that doesn't align with our morals, so we're not going to print for you. And then they just hold that grudge for all the new members who come onto our ed board.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I yield.
Lopez Dubois.
Yeah, just sort of a logistical question. Sort of following that same lead, I think it's about $12.80 per copy. Does that, I know if there's anything under $10 that, you don't need to track IDs or anything like that. Has that ever been an issue with like newspapers or something being over that amount in terms of like I don't have an issue funding this request, but I just mean in terms of following the guidelines.
As far as I'm concerned, no. That is, or sorry, as far as I'm aware, that's not been an issue.
Okay, great. And I saw Julie's note in the chat. Thank you.
Stevenson.
I was gonna say if there aren't other questions, but there are, so I will yield.
You can still make the motion and we can talk about it.
Okay. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group student insurgent OS number OS085I in the amount of $2,577 to existing line item name mailing and printing.
Seconded Fisher.
Seconded Taylor.
Oof.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded Fisher, and we will still continue discussion. Senator Chisholm.
Hi, one last thing just for clarification. Specifically to Quadrian, our issues are around like 40 pages long, so and they're double-sided and they're in full color and like they have like a nice little glossy finish. So like, yeah, that's the reason for like the price per magazine. Like it's a lot of content in there. That I yield.
Thank you. And if there are no more questions or comments, I will move us to a vote. Seems like we're winding down on it. Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Lopez Dubois.
Aye.
Offerhead.
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox.
Aye.
Chisholm.
Abstain.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you, Senators. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming.
Good evening, everyone.
Awesome. And then for our last request, I'm very sorry if I don't pronounce this right, but Luxarez UO. Hello, thank you for
Hi,
coming.
everyone. Thank you. My name is Mayra Marin. I'm the internal director for Mujeres. And I will be talking about our surplus request for Fall Baile. Before I start, I do want to say and acknowledge the MECHA and LMA board directors who've also joined us, which I would also like to thank. Thank you for staying. From Mujeres, we have our finance director, Kimberly, our external director, Sulama, our programs director, Liliana, communications director, Maritza. From Mecha, we have the programs director, Diana, their finance director, Bree, internal director, Maria, external director, Sebastian, the RUIC co-coordinator, Isabella, and we also have the vice president for the LMA, Andy, all to show that we all care deeply about this event, and I hope that from what I say, you guys can see that as well. I do have a little document that I will read just so I can talk about the event to the best of my capacity and so you guys understand it as well. So I will be mindful of the time. Um, the purpose of our fall baile is to create a meaningful space on campus for the Latina students featuring live music and dancing. This event, in collaboration with Mecha and LMA, will be the first major event centered around Latina students held on campus. Our goal is to create a welcoming environment for incoming and returning students. Not only that, but we want students to find a community on campus, and we know how important community is and representation, especially during these times. This event will give students a sense of belonging in a predominantly white institution. Although this event is centered around the Latina community, it is open to all UO students. The purpose of this request is to fund the live music that we are asking for. The event is held in GSH 123 on October 10th from 7 to 10 p.m., oh, sorry, that was not supposed to happen. Which is towards the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is why we kind of wanted that week 2 time frame, so we make sure we have it within the time frame. We aim to make this event a way to represent the presence of the Latina community on campus, especially since, like I said, there's not many events hosted by the school itself. It's really up to one of our 3 organizations to lead and actually take the initiative to host these events, which is what we're here for. We are expecting over 70 students to attend, and for the live music, the amount we're asking for is $1,200. This event was not funded in the past because last year was the first time we did this specific event where we only contracted a DJ. And when allocating money for this year, I only put in the money that we kind of used for the DJ, but we wanted to do something a little bigger and more representative of our culture rather than just a person who could play a playlist. Because this really encompasses a lot of the roots and kind of like just our culture that many students miss, especially during the first couple weeks of school. Um, Quick money breakdown, which would be quick. All of the money will be going for the group. It is live music, and I want to say that the group that we've been looking at is the cheapest option we've been able to find. Like I mentioned before, last year we got a DJ, we contracted a DJ for $900, and for this year's event, the group, which is, I want to say about 5 people, they're bringing in their instruments, their lights, their speakers, is just going to total 2,100, which is a little over double, but for the amount that for the stuff that they're going to bring and do, it's not that crazy of an increase compared to just one person and a DJ. Mujeres has had experience in the past dealing with live music, and it's been very successful, which is why we believe that in us getting this live group, it would be more impactful and more beneficial to the community because we have personally seen in the events that we've held not only last year, but 2 years ago, that live music brings in the entire community in a way that just isn't possible without it. Um, Last year, I don't know if you guys saw, but towards the end of May in the Memorial Quad, there was a whole setup with a bounce house and a tent and a dance floor. That was us. We brought in a live band and it was a whole nother event. But when students see that live music is being provided, especially if it's representative of our culture, it makes them more inclined to attend because it's just that little something that students are always missing here. And we just want to make sure that we also provide that towards the beginning of the year, just because, I don't know, it's just such a critical and crucial time for many students. And we just want to show our members and maybe potential members that we're here for them, for any needs they might have. Um, I do have more, but I can continue talking about this for so long. But I am ready for any questions that you guys have, concerns. Yeah, I don't know, whatever, anything you guys might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I do love that you guys are doing live music here on campus. I think we need more live music around. I'll give it to Senator Fisher.
Thank you so much for being here. This sounds so fun. I love this for you. Um, I would love to hear more if you want to give more, maybe before we vote, but I did have a couple questions. The first question is, and I don't know anything about this, that's why I'm asking. Do you know if there's like, I know sometimes in places that when you bring in live music, there could be a problem with like the sound based on the building it's in and like where the room is. One, I guess my first question is, do you know anything about that or have you planned for that or is that going to be a problem?
Yes, love the question. So, little backstory. Before we held our event in the Memorial Quad last year, the year before we actually held it in the same GSH room, GSH 123, and we've had many events before in that same room. And the very first one 2 years ago was with another live music group, which was slightly bigger than this, and it was for a bigger event, so I would say was a little louder. And typically there is no, I'm also a resident assistant, so I work in the dorms, and as long as the noise isn't like on the halls themselves, there's no issue. We haven't had any issues in the past with GSH about noise complaint, but we always make sure that we're on the same page with the dorm and the building itself. So if they were to have an issue, we just make sure we comply to it and we're not like breaking any rules.
That's great. I see that. Also, it's a Friday night, so like, come on.
Exactly. And it's open to all students. So if they hear it and they want to come, they could join.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And then my other question is, so the band that you want to get,
Mhm.
just like what band is it?
Yeah. So I don't I don't know how to explain this. It's like I don't want to say a regional group, but it kind of really is. They play a lot of music based on Latina culture, whether that be like what it's called banda, which is kind of like regional Mexican music, or like the more current modernized ones. But it typically, instrument wise, I'm not a big band person, but there's usually drums, a guitar, and a whole other stuff. If you have a lot more questions about the group, our programs director is here. But that's like a general idea.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just wanted to know the name of the band. If
Oh, yeah. Their name is kind of funny, not gonna lie, but I won't complain. They're called Grupo Los Cocos, which direct translation, it's like I am assuming there's backstory to it, but direct translation, it's like band the coconuts.
That's funny.
You guys, I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
Senator Withers.
Hi, Myra. I was wondering how in the past few years that you've held this event, how many attendees have you had?
Yeah, so the first time we held this event was last year. That was the first time we
Okay.
really wanted to do something during Hispanic Heritage Month, because that's how this whole event even started. We just wanted there to be an event for the community on this month. Um, but last year, I want to say we had a little over 50 students attend. It was also a very la we had a lot less time to prepare, and it wasn't a collaboration with MidChat and LMA. So that's why with this collaboration and with a bigger group, we know that we'll be able to reach a lot more students.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
I love when orgs collaborate with each other. I think it works super well.
Lots.
And I love live music. I'm biased, and I think that cultural events are so important. So I would like to make the motion. So I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Mujeres UO OS 195 in the amount of $1,200 to line item fall baile.
Second,
Second,
Stevenson.
Perez.
Motion made by Withers, seconded Stevenson. And do we have any more questions? We will move to our vote. Perez.
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Offerhead,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Quessenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Please show up October 10th. You guys are all invited. Please. We would love your support.
Thank you so much for coming.
You. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, if that concludes financial business for the night. Moving ahead, if everyone's feeling all right, we will do the proposed stipend model from the ASUO exec branch. And if a member from the executive branch wants to present that and share some of the changes with us.
Hello, how's everyone doing? Good evening.
Hello, Justin.
Hi, Justin Begley, Finance Director, Human Pronouns. I'm just gonna go over just like a quick thing of like the changes made. Not many changes were made, just two major changes were made to the stipend model. Feel free to ask any questions afterwards, of course, and all that. So yeah, two main changes to the stipend model this year. The first was the creation of ASU graduate organizations. This comes after EPRC, which is the committee in exec that kind of recognizes new ASU organizations. They changed their bylaws to kind of make the distinction between graduate organizations and other ASU organizations. So as you can see, kind of in the proposal, there's kind of just different requirements to move up in tiers, to move down in tier, or to move up in tiers, and kind of the requirements needed for events and members needed. I'm not going to go too in depth into those. I think everyone has it and kind of just look through it. But on average, it's usually like, 10 to 15 less participants for an event and possibly like 5 to 10 less students, I believe, for each requirement in terms of like members needed. The second major change for the stipend model is related to ASUO stipends and pay. It's important to note that no individual position like kind of gained more money just out of thin air. All the changes made were kind of taken from one position and moved to a next. An example that I'll say is like the Chief Justice position was decreased by a bit, and it was kind of thrown between different positions like the academic vice chair and things of that nature. The difference between last year's proposal and this year's proposal, just kind of looking at it, is $4,765. That's if you're taking into account, that's just looking at it, the increase from 11 months to 12 months, and also the increase in certain, and that's actually just it, just the increase from 11 to 12 months for each position. It's important to note, though, that there is an increase just in general because multiple people hold the same position. For example, the legislative base officer pay, I believe 35 people hold that position technically. So moving that from 11 to 12 months is going to be like $11,000 extra. The overall increase is at a max of $24,000. And 97% of that is going straight into it affects the Ledge branch. So when Ledge goes to their PFC hearing, it's going to be an increase of around $24,000. And that's just mainly because of the increase from the month and pay period from 11 to 12 months. I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has them.
Awesome. Thank you for going through that, Justin. Anybody has any questions? Rules Committee looked this over. We made some changes. The only real thing was the academic chair putting at 300, so it matches the rest of exec. It's the biggest change we made in committee. Senator Fisher.
Hi, Justin. Thanks so much. I was wondering just like when this kicks in. So since it's moving from 11 months to 12 months, would it for the next year senators then start in June? Or can you explain like when that starts?
Yeah, of course. So your pay period, I believe this year you guys didn't get paid in the month of June. Is that correct? Like when you guys took office, I believe.
Yeah.
So next year, that would be the case. So the model is used by all the committees starting October 1st. When they're going through the budgets and whatnot, they're actually using the model that'll be used for next year. The actual model and changes in terms of like the pay and things like that will take place on July 1st of
Okay.
2026.
So it's June to June, basically.
Yes, June to June.
Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Stevenson.
As the person who was nominated for academic chair recently, thank you guys very much. My question is, does my 12-month period end in the coming July for this, or how does that work?
Are you in a 2-year seat?
I am in
Or
a 2-year seat, but I just elected to a 1 year long position.
Oh, right. Yeah. So if you're elected to a 1-year long position, that position would end whenever Senate ends, like I believe June something or May something or something like that around there. And then if you're reelected, obviously, the new stipend model would kick in, and that pay period would be for that 12-month period. So from
Okay.
June to June.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Rachel. Then we still don't have a motion to.
I was getting there. Um, I move to approve the proposed ASUO stipend model created May 2023, 2025 to go into effect August 1st, 2025.
Second, Fisher.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded Fisher. And we will go to vote. Perez,
Uh,
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferday,
Aye.
Hank Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Weissenberry, Questenberry.
Can you hear me?
I didn't hear that.
Oh, sorry. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. And the ASU stipend model is approved. Thank you again, Justin. Appreciate your presentation. And then next up, we have a resolution condemning the recent faculty cuts at the UO, authored by Senator Kayla Fisher. If you want to share the resolution with us or yeah, if you want to present the resolution.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So this is basically just a resolution calling out the university for all of the cuts that they may or may not, but definitely are planning, but don't want to tell anyone they're planning because they feel bad and know that they're doing something wrong. And so this is tell them like, hey, for all of these reasons listed as in the whereas, which someone will read, this is why you shouldn't do that, and this is why we disagree with it. Primarily because a lot of what is being planned to take away are programs and faculty that really impact and help cultural studies. So I think that that's quite honestly like shitty of them to do. Um, and then also the fact that they're doing all of this intentionally before anyone is like back in the swing to pay attention to it. And also they're doing it without having consulted anybody about it. But I'm going to yield to Dr. Leslie Seltzer because she's been doing so much of the backhanded work and she has a lot more information on this. And I think she can describe it much better than I can.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Nice to see you again. Wish I was not here. Also, if I freeze, I freeze. It is what it is. So the top line problem is that UO leadership's just not being transparent with what they're doing. They're not being collaborative. They're not being democratic. We've been scrambling. We're working with partial information. It's good information. We're getting it mostly from like department heads, people who are reliably in the know, but they're not sharing it publicly. So I do just want to give a disclaimer that these are quote unquote rumored cuts, but they're like well-founded rumors. I also want to call out specifically, you guys might want to strike Oregon Hazards Lab. It turns out that was cut for like a totally different reason related to state funding. I don't need to get into it. But yes, Kayla is correct. Most of the cuts right now are targeting humanities programs. So all of religious studies is potentially up for elimination. History is up for reductions. WGSS, my department's up for reductions. IRES, Indigenous Race Ethnic Studies, is up for reductions. German Scandinavian could be eliminated. They're also going after, I believe, a Holocaust studies position that is funded through a specific donor fellowship. And you may also know that the Schnitzer School of Global Studies and Languages just got a $25 million gift. So the fact that they're gutting that whole program just makes no sense. So yeah, a lot's been going on with the process. The UO Senate has created a task force basically comprised of prior Senate leaders. There's only like one actual Senate leader on it. And they seem to just be using that to say that the faculty have been consulted. We actually don't have a faculty vote on the Board of Trustees right now either because we're between confirmation. So and then the middle level admin, they're not actually consulting department heads. They're, if anything, Chris Polson is kind of bullying department heads from what I have heard. Sort of telling them like, you need to identify your colleagues to cut or you're gonna like lose your position. So it's like some pretty vicious stuff. It is extraordinary measures. In particular, they're talking about eliminating tenure track faculty, like tenured people who have tenure with, if you're not familiar with that, like that is an incredible, incredible escalation that goes against academic freedom, like everything that universities are supposed to stand for. If that is allowed to become a precedent, other universities across the nation could use it as a template to try to chill speech, right? Going after professors they don't like because of their ideology. A lot of the programs happen to be DEI adjacent type ones here at the UO that are up for cuts. So that's not escaping our notice. So yeah, it's a really big deal. And the other big problem here that's hard to summarize is like, if UO violates tenure, they're never going to be able to hire competitive faculty again. No one will work here. There are people who have left tenured positions at other institutions to come here starting this year who are being told their programs might get cut. Like they left jobs at other universities to come here and now their jobs are getting cut. Like it is completely unconscionable. It's also happening while UO is still doing tenure track hires and hires in other divisions. Like it's this austerity narrative just doesn't make sense. And yeah, like I said, I just think it's going to have an incredible impact on UO. I think we won't have a single Islamic studies scholar on campus if this happens. Religious studies will be eliminated. Again, IRES, WGS, all of these programs will be reduced. Additionally, UO has not explored other avenues for making up their projected deficit. They haven't talked at all about fundraising. They haven't talked about maybe cutting programs by 4% each, which was their original goal, instead of laying off entire programs. And UO has also extended itself in other ways, like developing the satellite campus. From what we're understanding, that basically this is happening because Jamie Moffett calculated the income wrong. She thought UO would just make more money than it actually did. And as far as we know, there's not been any accountability for Jamie Moffett either to this point. So all that to just be said, it's a longer trend here at UO. It's a big problem. The Board of Trustees, I'm not sure, actually understand which cuts are being made. I think they know the numbers. I think they've been told cuts are coming, but I don't think they understand the impacts in programs. And I don't think they understand the impacts to your education and your university as students. So whatever ASUO can do to educate students and communicate with them, I appreciate you guys have been pushing out our petition, pulling on political levers, all that stuff. And yeah, I do want to also just say that I think a lot of people are starting to lack confidence in UO's leaders. Like that seems to be the dominating feeling among faculty. So I do also want to let you know that the Faculty Senate is having an emergency meeting on Friday at noon. I believe that that is like relatively open to people on Zoom, and they've asked President Schultz to attend. So I don't know if that'll happen, but we really appreciate you guys speaking out about these cuts. They really are like ruining people's lives, and we really think there are other options. UO just needs to slow down and engage in collaboration like they did during COVID. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. The only other thing I wanted to add and this will get read in the resolution as well. But I think this falls really strongly in line with the resolution that we just passed a couple months ago, asking for financial transparency and for the university to collaborate with unions and governing bodies and us. And so I think because we've already passed that, and in addition to these cuts that they're trying or planning or not saying they're going to do, but are probably going to do, I think it's really important that we stay on the same track. And I think that this resolution is part of that track of demanding transparency and collaboration from the university. Before I yield, I want to move to strike Oregon Hazards Lab from the resolution.
Seconded.
Motion made by Fisher to strike Oregon Hazard Labs, seconded by Fisher. All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed say nay. And the motion is passed. Oregon's hazard lab will be stricken. And then I just want to say thank you, Kayla, for doing this. I agree that I think they did this in the middle of summer, so that they weren't expecting as much of a student response and things like that. So I think it's really cool that we're doing this in the middle of summer and showing them that like we're not going to stand by while our school acts like a business and cuts faculty and union busts. And I think it's just really important for us to stand by resolutions like this. Does anybody have any questions or comments they want to make? Actually, real quick, we did not make a working group for this resolution. So actually, can someone make a motion to strike Rule 10.5 if they would like?
I move to strike Rule 10.5, suspending ASUO rules regarding working groups for this meeting.
Second, Questenberry.
Motion made by Senator Fisher, seconded Questenberry. All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed say nay. And the motion is passed. And then if there isn't any more questions or comments, would you like to read the resolution, Kayla or Senator Fisher?
Yeah. Resolution to condemn faculty cuts at the University of Oregon, writing to university leadership, including the UO Board of Trustees, President Carl Schultz, Provost and Senior VP Christopher Long, Chief Financial Officer Jamie Moffitt, and College of Arts and Sciences Dean Chris Polson to halt their harmful cuts of UO faculty and workers. Author Senator Kayla Fisher. The co-sponsors are the Graduate Teaching Fellows Federation, UO Student Workers Union, UO Young Democratic Socialists, the Student Insurgent, Arab Student Association, Accessibility Student Union, Jewish Voice for Peace, Climate Justice League, and then our very own President Moreno, Vice President Ackman, Speaker Gill, Chief of Staff Patrick, Executive Director of Strategy Ducharme, and Senator O'Neill and Senator Jess Fisher. Whereas the University of Oregon's mission statement identifies its values as including the success of students and faculty and staff who work and learn here, and our shared changes to steward resources sustainably and responsibly. Whereas the University of Oregon leadership has decided to make a rushed and undemocratic plan to lay off 25 plus tenure track faculty in programs that may include religious studies, Holocaust studies, German and Scandinavian studies, Russian, East European, and Eurasian studies, the classics, the only positions in Judaic and Arabic studies, as well as significant program reductions in WGSS, IRES, libraries, and more. In total, these cuts would cause irreparable harm to workers, tenure, and the faculty. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. To workers, tenure, and the quality of research and education at the UO. Whereas these cuts would undermine UO's core academic mission by erasing critical expertise at a time when these fields are necessary to help understand global events and contemporary issues, students at Oregon's public flagship university should have access to basic knowledge of world languages and cultures to prepare them to face today's pressing global issues. Whereas these cuts would impact every student at UO by eliminating the potential for valued and diverse education, which is more than just a major track of courses, but a distinctive community that is built at UO by the opportunities these programs and faculty provide each student. Whereas these plans are in full swing without any meaningful consultation with students and faculty about better ways to address the projected deficit, though consultation and collaboration with faculty in such circumstances is mandated both by the university policy and by the collective bargaining agreement between UO and United Academics. Whereas the University of Oregon's leadership has the power to take action for alternate solutions, such as transparent collaboration with United Academics, as well as options like early retirement incentives, targeted administrative pay cuts, or cuts to every program's budget by a small margin, rather than fully eliminating entire programs. Whereas the ASUO passed the resolution to enhance financial transparency in university administration on June 4th, 2025, asking university leadership to work towards and ensure financial transparency and shared governance with other units of the university, such as unions, governing bodies, and those most impacted by the decisions made above their heads. Therefore, let it be resolved effective immediately by the Associated Students of the University of Oregon Senate, acting under the authority of the ASUO Constitution, that the collective leaders of the University of Oregon, including but not limited to the UO Board of Trustees, President Carl Schultz, Provost and Senior VP Christopher Long, Chief Financial Officer Jamie Moffitt, and College of Arts and Sciences Dean Chris Polson, one, withdraw their current elimination plan in favor of solutions that put students and education first, and two, engage in a collaborative process with governing bodies and unions to resolve the current financial condition of the university before making rash decisions on faculty cuts.
Thank you so much. Then now.
Second, Ludeman. That's the motion, right?
Pardon. Yes, motion made by Fisher, seconded Ludeman.
And that also should be roll call.
For sure. Thank you. All right, and if there is no more questions or comments, I will move to the roll call now. Find it. Senator Stevenson.
Shout out Senator Fisher. Thank you. I yield.
All right. Senator Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Lopez Dubois.
Aye.
Hofferdev.
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox.
Aye.
Chisholm.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Quessenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman. Ludeman. And I say aye as well. And the resolution's passed.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you again, Kayla. All right, back to the agenda, and our next item are appointment confirmations from the exec branch, approval of the president's nominations for the student representatives on the UA-UO Impact Bargaining Team. These nominations have been made by ASU President Moreno, which authorizes student governments and public universities to appoint student representatives to faculty bargaining actions. And I will let President Moreno present her appointments.
Yeah, thank you all for being here and sticking around. My name is Priscilla Moreno. I use she, her pronouns. I'm serving as the ASUO president, and I'm here tonight to kindly ask you all to confirm myself, our director of strategy, Andrew Ducharme, and former co-lead negotiator for UO Student Workers, Ashton Pressman, to UAUO's impact bargaining sessions. So as Kayla and Leslie just outlined, there's some pretty crazy things going on with the abrupt budget cuts put forth by the university. And because of this, UA is going into impact bargaining, which happens when an employer makes a decision that will drastically impact working conditions. And this is definitely doing so to the extent that many faculty might not even have jobs as a possibility. So that's all happening. It's been a pretty heavy couple of weeks hearing the testimonies from professors and faculty that might not be able to teach at the university anymore, hearing from students and being worried about their programs and the ability to finish their education at the university. So, according to the statute that is linked on the ASUO Senate agenda, the recognized student government is able to have up to 3 representatives on these bargaining sessions. And I'm appointing myself, Andrew Ducharme, and Ashton Pressman to this. So, we're all here today to answer any questions you might have about the process or anything at all. So I'll open it up to questions.
Senator Fisher?
Yeah, I might have missed just a bit of it. So like what exactly is your role there? Like what do you get to like do any official things? Or are you just advocating? Like what is your role?
That's a really good question. I'll give it to Andrew Ducharme to explain the slight vagueness of it all, and kind of how we'll find out once we're there.
Yeah, so this is a really like funny part of state statute that, basically state law pretty rigorously dictates like how bargaining between a union and any public employee is supposed to work. But there's this recognition by the legislature at some point in time that like the negotiations, the working conditions of faculty have import for students, right? If faculty can't teach, it's going to mean worse learning conditions for students. So, in the statute linked in the Senate agenda, there is 3 representatives of the student government are allowed to participate in the collective bargaining process. And in section 2 of this piece of statute that you can see in the agenda, our abilities are laid out. And as I think Ashton could attest, they're kind of wild. We are allowed to attend and observe all meetings. This is a bit of a throwback to a previous era. In more recent years, most collective bargaining is always called open bargaining, where anyone can attend the bargaining sessions. But it used to be fairly normal that like all meetings between the bargaining teams was closed to the public. And in addition, there are bargaining meetings later as things kind of as the tension ratchets up, where eventually public bargaining ends. And so all of the information is only shared between the 2 bargaining teams. So even in that case, we will be able to attend those sessions, or whoever's appointed and is confirmed at the Senate meeting will be able to attend those sessions. In addition, we get access to all the written documents that change hands. And we don't just get to watch, we actually do get to comment in good faith about these conversations. So we can't make snide comments. We can't, catcall. We can't heckle, but I have no intention of doing that. But we can say like, oh, well, we think it's pretty important that, fact that tenure rights are protected, because that really matters for making sure that there's good professors at the university that can do good research, that can train good graduate students, that can teach amazing classes. And finally, there are other rules around allowing us to meet individually with those teams, but we basically are given this really unique ability to kind of be a third party fully within the bargaining process, specifically for faculty university bargaining. This is a really great opportunity, and I'm really excited to hopefully represent the student body in it.
Thank you so much. And then I was also wondering if maybe each of you could go give us a little thing about like why this is so important to you and why you want to be the representative there.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So, like I said, we've had the opportunity to be in some meetings with UAUO, and it's been really heartbreaking to hear their testimonies. And I'm just passionate in general about the way that the university interacts with unions, and I'm very intrigued by that. But more importantly, there are some confidentiality things associated with bargaining that might come up. And I believe that if myself as ASUO president, if I don't have the full picture and I just have a different representative that's already filtering information that I'm not necessarily allowed to know as an outside person, it might not lead to productive conversations. Like, let's say if I want to talk to Carl Schultz, like I'll have a broader picture if I'm actually at the table in these bargaining sessions. So that's the main reason why I myself, in my role, think that it would be a good idea for me to be confirmed.
And then Ashton, I did notice that you wanted to say something earlier. Did you still want to comment?
I can answer Senator Fisher's question. What I was previously going to say, Andrew said at the end of his statement. But so as Priscilla said, I was one of the lead negotiators for USW's contract, and so I have a significant amount of bargaining experience, and I think it's really unique that there is this third party entity within these types of bargaining sessions. And so I have spent like the last 3 years focusing on bargaining for USW, and I think it's really important that we are able to support and show up in the ways that we can for other units on campus. And this is something that I have realized going into my senior year is something that I have the ability and capacity to do, and would like to help our faculty in the best way they can. And also, one thing that I think having representatives in this way helps avoid, sorry if you can hear cars outside, um, is if the university tries to invoke reasoning along the lines of like, oh, well, this is what we think is best for students, rather than having other people speak for us. There are student representatives who are actually able there to speak for us, and it is statute protected, which is great.
It's on you, Andrew.
Yeah, I serve directly under Jordan. I serve with Priscilla. One of my jobs is to provide the director of strategy and try to understand our relationship with the university administration and also the university's relationship with Salem. So having as good of a picture as I possibly can, I think allows me to advise Priscilla as best I can. And in addition, I have really strong relationships already with Leslie, who was just here, with people in the University Senate, with people in UAUO, and of course the GTFF, my own union. So I think that I have a lot of connections and would be a harmonious partner. I think God willing, a great representative for the student body.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say go GTFF. I've got the representation on always, if case anyone's ever wondering. And that's great. Thank you so much. I know we can still converse, but I'm going to move to confirm President Moreno, Director Ducharme, and Ashton Pressman to the student representatives for UAUO impact bargaining.
Second, Taylor.
Just to make it more clear and give people the option, let's do each vote separately.
That makes more sense. I'll wait then.
Well, you can still make the motion. We can make all three motions, or we can make one motion. We can start with President Moreno.
Okay. Oh, I need to do it. Okay. I have moved to confirm President Moreno to be a student representative for UAUO impact bargaining.
Second, Fisher.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded Fisher. And we will move to a vote. Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois.
No.
That's a nay vote.
Correct.
Hofferdev,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Questenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Congrats on your appointment.
Thank you, everybody.
Now we just have the two other nominations. Senator Fisher,
I move to confirm Director of Strategy Ducharme as a student representative for UAUO Impact Bargaining.
Second, Perez.
motion made by Fisher, seconded Perez. And if there are no more questions, we will move to a vote. Perez,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferdev,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Questenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Congratulations, Andrew. Then next up is Ashton Pressman. Once someone makes a motion. Hofferdev,
I move to appoint Ashton Pressman to the UA-UO Impact Bargaining Team.
Seconded Fisher.
motion made by Hofferdev, seconded Fisher. Then I'll move to a vote again. Perez,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Lopez Dubois,
Aye.
Hofferdev,
Aye.
Jenkins Hiscox,
Aye.
Chisholm,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Withers,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Questenberry,
Aye.
Ludeman,
Aye.
and I say aye as well. Congratulations, Ashton. And thank you, exec, so much for finding out about the statute and doing this. I feel like this is really important. Having student voices in powerful areas is always an important thing. So thank you, guys.
Thank you all for your time, and thank you, Speaker, for putting this on the agenda last minute. I really appreciate you all. Have a good night.
And to the next part of the agenda, we have our updates, starting with the finance committees. PFC Chair, Senator Peters.
Hi, y'all. No big updates for PFC. We're going to be having a meeting next week on either Monday or Friday. I'll send out an email once we decide as a committee when we're going to be having it. And we're just mainly going over prepping for the upcoming school year and assigning tags.
Awesome, thank you. And Contracts Finance Committee Vice Chair, Senator Taylor.
So we have a few things. We have some meetings planned to train for working with legal documents, alongside some meetings to, I guess, further discuss the contracts we currently have and I guess the precedents that they would have going into this next, I guess, contract season. Also, we were discussing, I guess, funded transit options for the students on the Portland campus. And were recently given a lot of information by Andrew Ducharme to work towards extending those options. And so we'll likely be working with him on that in the near future. So if you guys want any updates, obviously ask any of us on CFC. And that's it for us, I guess.
Thank you, Senator Taylor. Department's Finance Committee Chair, Senator Haverdeck.
Yeah, hey guys. So we are still working on figuring out a time that will work for us to meet as DFC. However, we have assigned tags now that Trevor is a part of DFC. And people are starting to meet with their tags and do intros with them, and we will start working on our financial priorities soon. And that's about it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. And then next item is Senate Executive Updates, and we will start with Academic Chair Stevenson.
Hey guys, for those of you that didn't know, AC had its first meeting about a week ago, and we aren't going to meet until the first week of next month. But we've assigned tags, and if anyone needs any information for reaching out to officers, let me know. And I've also figured out with Quadrian the external committee assignments, but I haven't sent them out yet. Yeah, AC is doing well as a group, and we will continue to do the same. That is the entire update.
Thank you. And then Treasurer Perez.
Not much from me. Stipend should be getting rolled out around now. If you have any issues, come let me know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I yield.
Deputy Speaker Ludeman.
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. I don't have any major updates at the moment, but I would like to say that as of next week, I will have a lot more availability. I will finally be back in Oregon. So again, apologize for slowing this throughout the summer, but Quadrian and I will have those trainings figured out, and then we'll get all prepped and ready for the beginning of the year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then for my update, for me, today was the last day of my summer job, so I'm much more free from now on. I'm planning on updating my office hours on the sheet on the form next week and spending time in the ASUO suite during my office hours. So people are welcome to come meet with me in person or have virtual meetings and things like that. I will be very available. Speaking of office hours, please fill out your conflicts of interest on the office hours sheet. Not everyone's done that yet, and it's important to share your conflicts of interest with people. And think about your office hours as we start to head into fall term too, because schedules are probably made and stuff. And it was only a few weeks really till school. So start thinking about all of that. And I know I've mentioned committees a lot the last few weeks, but with Cole working on external committees and stuff, I just wanted to make sure I didn't put those out yet because some stuff has had to like move around as we do the external committees. But it is set in stone, so I'm going to be reaching out to you guys individually as the next few weeks go on and sharing your assignments with you, and that'll give you a chance to like ask questions or say that you're like there's too much of a workload or something like that, and so we can work on that. And that is everything from me. Moving to the executive branch update, ASU Vice Pres Ackman.
Howdy, folks. Two updates for you tonight. Hiring update. We are so close to being done with hiring, or at least all the interviews with secretaries, and then we'll be sending out acceptance and rejection letters. So we should be getting a full branch here by shoot, hopefully the first week of September, if longest, second week of September. So that'll be really cool. So it's almost over for that. We've been in interviews, so many interviews, constant interviews, it feels like, but it's almost over. So looking forward to that. And then for the budget cuts, I think you all heard some of that, some of the folks from the executive branch who are being part of those conversations. And specifically, Andrew Sharm is going to listening sessions and has been joining a lot of meetings with reps. And there is an upcoming meeting we have with Representative Lively. He's the representative for the Springfield area. And of course, impact bargaining they're all gonna join impact bargaining. So yeah, that's kind of the exec updates. Yeah, thank you. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask.
Stevenson?
I don't know if it's a question specifically for the VP, but when will whoever can answer, is there a deadline for seat 18? Because I'm trying to figure out the external committee stuff like Quajian was talking about, and yeah.
Yeah, we've been interviewing for seat 18, but that has to go through Senate once we like appoint someone. So if you want to reach out to myself, or Priscilla or Daphne, we can talk more. But we've been interviewing for people. I think it's 30 days from the point. So it's 30 days since that person has been absent. Quadrian, I think that's right.
Yeah,
But
we're
yeah,
well
that's like
past.
a kind of uh two-pronged effort. So yeah, we're also interviewing folks for the seat 18 as well.
Cool. Thank you, I yield.
Awesome. And that will end the exec update. Lastly, if no one objects, I'll move to approve the minutes from August 5th. If all of you got a chance to review those in our email. Is there any objections? All right. And then we will move to adjourn. So I want to make the motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second, Questenberry.
Motion made by Withers, seconded Questenberry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And we are adjourned. Thank you all so much. Have a great night, everyone.
You too, bye.
Did you want?